Hey everybody, it's Rob. I wanted to record a little video here for everybody. I recorded a video back in the spring, in March, very beginning of March, when this pandemic thing was well before it got here. And I posted a video about ozone. And I did it because of experience I had in the past. And I was warning everyone at that time that things could get bad. I thought that they would. And we've gone through this, wave and then down, and now it seems going way back up again. And I wanted to post about this again, because to be honest with you, I got frustrated and got sick of talking about it with people because of lack of knowledge. It was frustrating to me, and it reminds me of talking to people about God. To be honest with you, it's like I'm not going to argue with people. If you want to come to the well, you come to it. And so I'm going to give you some information today that I would consider is the well I've come from, and I want to explain to you ozone. Most people are completely oblivious to it. It's a form of oxygen, O3 instead of O2. The Earth creates this. Let's begin by stating that. This is not from a manufacturing plant. The other ways you get rid of viruses are man-made products, and ozone is not. I want to tell you a little story. I never talked about this in my past video. This is how I was introduced to ozone. When people are talking to me about some of the things I talked to you about the chemical breakdown, it's like I'm off in left field when I got into hearing that back then. A guy from my church said he wanted me to put this air purifier in my house. And we had a big Dalmatian, my ex-wife and I, 100-pound Dalmatian named Domino. And at that time, if this dog crapped in the house, we would come in the house, and every day I was just ready to boil over with my fingers crossed when I came in, because when you walked in, it was just knock you out. No matter where you were, where that poop was, you smelled like it was simmering in your face. Well, we go in the house, and after I had this machine in there, and I walk in the door, and oh, thank God, I don't smell poop. Well, I'm walking around the house, and then I turn and I look, and there's right in front of me is, I kid you not, a Marmaduke pile of crap. And I looked at it, and then all of a sudden it hit me that I was standing in front of this, and I could not even smell it. And at that very moment, I turned and walked over to that machine, and I sat and looked at that thing and said, oh my God, what is this thing doing? That was an aha moment for me. Had I not experienced that, I would have never probably been doing this right now. You can take ammonia, soak it on a rag, hold it in front of an ozone generator, and in about 30 seconds, the ammonia is gone. If you got cat piss in your house, we had it before, trust me, this is a savior for you. Here's the thing I wanted to talk about. I got COVID-19. I was posting about this, about staying safe, and guess who caught the virus? Well, let me tell you what happened. I bought the machine, and it was running it March, April, all the time, and then, like a lot of people, things seemed like they were going to go away, and I quit running it. Well, then my daughter comes in and said that she had been tested positive, and immediately when I heard that and I knew that that was in our house, I went and turned the machine back on. Well, right after that, I came down with symptoms, and I don't ever get sick, so I knew something was up. But here's the interesting thing, is my wife, Dawn, and her daughter never contracted the virus. This is my wife. We're not an old couple here. We don't not kiss and that kind of thing. And the moment that I found out that it was in the house, I turned that thing on full blast. Well, she ended up not catching it. And here's the thing, when ozone is in your air, we walk in now, I have this thing running. I don't care what anybody wants to go on the EPA and the CDC, what they're going to tell you. I want you to understand something. Hopefully now, I couldn't tell you this back in March. Hopefully now you do not believe everything the CDC, the WHO, and all these people are telling you. I'm not even going to get into that. Ozone comes from the earth, folks. And my kids grew up in a home with an ozone machine. I had somebody from my church message me, telling me that they used them to sanitize cockpits in planes. He worked for Boeing, I think, and he wanted to tell me it was dangerous. And I said, I appreciate that. Thanks. Get in line. And here's the thing is, I want you to understand something. What does it say by the fact that they're using these to sanitize cockpits in planes, is what he was doing it with, is boats, cruise ships, that kind of thing. You cannot, if you put ozone in the atmosphere of those cabins, no virus can survive. None. You have to understand what you're trying to use as an alternative to combat this. You can get all the spray cleaner, alcohol, and whatever these things are. Bleach is the other one. Unless you touch the surface spot where the virus is, it is useless. Is this thing with masks? This was not around back in the spring. Well, now it's airborne. It's airborne. You need to have a mask. Well, if you believe that, then you need to understand ozone, because ozone kills it in the air. Alcohol does not. Bleach does not. If ozone is in your air, you cannot have this virus survive in your house. Then you're going to say it's dangerous. Okay, that's what you've heard on the news, or not on the news. It's not on the news. That's what I don't understand. But CDC, EPA, you can go to all of them, and they're going to tell you that, oh my God, it's hazardous. And here's the thing I'll tell you. I have had an ozone machine in my house. My children, since the time they were babies, were in a home with an ozone machine running 24/7. You can ask my kids or my ex-wife that. My kids never got sick growing up. Very rarely did they ever get sick. So, A, they're very healthy, and B, they never got sick. I'll let you decide. My kids aren't dead. They're not suffering from asthma because of an ozone machine. So I'm just telling you what happened. You can listen to whatever you want from the EPA in these places. The three fastest things to kill the virus, outside of extreme things like flames or whatever, is the three fastest are bleach. Kills the coronavirus in 45 seconds. It's not immediate. Alcohol. You think about this. You put on hand sanitizer. In the moment you put it on, you think you're good. You're not good. It takes 30 seconds for that to kill the virus. And the only one faster than those two is ozone. It kills it on contact in 20 seconds. But here's the thing. Those two, you can touch the surfaces in the house, but you cannot do anything with the air with those. The ozone, when I walk in my house, you smell it in the air immediately when you walk in. I'm going to take you inside here. I'm going to show you what we're talking about. This is the real world version. So I bought this ozone machine in the spring. All you do is you take it and put it right in front of your AC intake. This thing's right now running. You can see the plate in there is electricity is running through that grid, and when it fan blows over that, it creates ozone. It smells like a hospital. That's what it smells like, if you want to understand that. But this right now is running through our AC intake, and everywhere in our house there isn't a surface that is not affected by it. So here's what I wanted to say lastly, is when this virus came in our house, this is important to know, there was no contact between me and anyone who had the virus. No physical contact, no kissing, no hugging, no handshakes of those that were infected. It would have been in the air, and it must be highly contagious. I'm telling you that based on what happened in my home. But I'm also telling you that the moment I turn that ozone on, any of that virus that's on a surface in the air would be immediately killed. And I don't know honestly, the science of it, but I'm breathing that air into my throat, my lungs. That's where, when they swab, that's where they're swabbing. That's where this stuff gets stuck. And if ozone is in that air, it's going to kill the virus. And so I'm not going to get into too much of the science of it because people want to argue about that. I'm telling you the real life situation. If you are worried about the virus and you're wearing a mask all the time and you're doing all of these things, and I'm going to tell you flat out from somebody who had this virus, this is way overblown, folks. I've had virtually zero symptoms, and I was very tempted in the beginning to say nothing and continue my life because I've been in shutdown for 14 days, and it sucks. It really does. But this ozone, if you use it the way I'm telling you, and I'll tell you this, if you're the extreme paranoid, my baby's going to die, well, then use the ozone the way that it's suggested on the machine. I don't use it the way it's suggested on the machine. I overdo everything. But just take the machine, put it in your bedroom, shut the door, run it for a half hour to an hour. There's a timer on it, and you shut it off. Just like when you clean with bleach. Bleach stinks too. Alcohol stinks too. But you don't put alcohol on your pillow or your bleach on your pillow and live in it. So if you want to come from that premise, put it in the room, sanitize the room, and take it out. Just like the fellow who cleans the cabins and the planes. Exactly the same way they're doing it. There's a reason they're doing that. There's a reason they use them in cruise ships. And I don't know why this is not being talked about. Ozone as a whole in medicine is being suppressed and has been for many years. And there are people way brighter than me that will tell you that if you research on the internet. But that's it. I just wanted to tell you. Now, let me make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, yes, just lastly, Florida. I made these videos back when New York and all that was blowing up in April. Well, now we just blew away their record for new cases by a third. California and New York are the one-day total, probably maybe in the world. I don't know, but that should tell you that if you're sitting around worried about this and the virus and you're old and what do you have to lose? You're worried about death, and even if this thing is a monster, I would always say it like this: it's like a scale. You're weighing danger. They want to make ozone out to be dangerous, but look at the upside of it. Your home is sanitized when that thing's running inside there. If everybody was doing this whole baloney going on right now would not be going on. It's not being spread outdoors. You have to understand that. It's being spread in recirculated air. And notice this also. Back in the time it was spreading in New York is when everyone was indoors in New York. Now, guess who's all indoors? Everybody in Florida and New York, Texas and California, all the hot states are the ones that are experiencing the blow up right now. So use your head and think about that. It's indoor recirculated air. We are breathing death for air, with or without the virus. But that's it. So I want to tell you, get an ozone machine. I paid $80 for that thing on Amazon. And I don't really want everybody calling and asking me ozone questions. This is it. Just take this for what it is. I'm not the ozone science guy, but I know the basics of it that I just told you. So check it out. And I'm telling you that I think it would really be useful for anybody. But that's it. So thanks, guys. Hopefully somebody will listen to this. And remember, ozone came from God.